Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel Talks with D. My name is Mrs. Dr. Otu. Thank you so much for being here once again. I want to give a special shout out to every new subscriber. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for coming on board with us. And as many that have been here with me from the onset, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for your encouragement. In fact, you are the reason why I'm still doing this, because when I see your views and your comments, it's encouraging, just to let me know that lives are touched and I'm not wasting my time or your time. So thank you so much. Thank you. God bless us. All right. So welcome. Okay. So today is going to be a part 2 of the topic we started when I was discussing about things that we take for granted in life. And on that episode, I remember we could not exhaust everything that needs to be said. And this channel, you have to utilize the time that you have. So I wasn't able to exhaust all. Even on this episode, I doubt if I'm going to be able to. So, but as it comes, we can, still add to the part. So this is part 2 of the things that we often take for granted in life. No, so by way of introduction, I am introducing it again by saying that sometimes we take things that we enjoy on a daily basis in our existence for granted. Things that makes our lives easier, better, meaningful, comfortable, we take it for granted. Helps that we receive from different people that makes this journey of life, enjoyable, we take it for granted. So that's basically what this series are about. Looking inwards to seeing the things that we often take for granted, and rather than taking them for granted, taking full responsibility of giving them the attention that they need by way of appreciation of these things and appreciating the people that God uses to do these things to us, in our space. So that's what it is. So now let's a little bit of definition again before we go into some points to discuss. Now, when someone is said to be taking something for granted, it simply means that the person is not placing enough value on something or someone, or perhaps that the value the person is placing on that thing or someone is very light, too light. It also means that you are not actually noticing some things that you're supposed to notice and appreciating some things that you are supposed to appreciate. Because you remember that when you appreciate something, you cannot be said to be taking such a thing for granted. When you appreciate something, it means that you have noticed that thing and you have placed value on it. So taking things for granted simply means that you are not paying attention, you are not giving attention, you are not noticing those things as they should be noticed, and you are not appreciating or placing value on those things that you're supposed to place value on. Or perhaps you are placing value but you are taking it for granted. It's light, it's supposed to be cheap. That's basically what this is about. That you should not take these things for granted that you are taking for granted. So now let's go into some of these things that we take for granted. Now, on this second part, number 1 is that sometimes we take our spouses for granted. I was having a discussion with my husband the other day when I was thinking and preparing for this series. And I asked him this question, Sonny, so what are those things that you think that we actually take for granted? And the man's mind went wild. He said a lot of things, but while he was talking, I was just writing down some things. Because sometimes you just need to rub minds with other people to understand what it is that is going on. And number 1 thing he hammered on was that of the unity of couples. The unity of couples. He said that is the foundation that makes everything else work. That if there is no unity amongst couples, how can they plan together? How can they rub minds together? How can they agree to do some things together? Listen, when you are united with your spouse, you can move mountains. It's the truth. Even the Bible acknowledges it that when 2 agree, they can make anything happen here on earth and it will be sanctioned in heaven. So he was telling me that the unity of couples should not be taken for granted. That you have an understanding wife, that you have an understanding husband. Please don't take it for granted. That you have a thoughtful man in your life. You have a thoughtful woman in your life that looks out for your good. Please don't take these people for granted. I suggest to you, don't wait until people's anniversaries or birthdays for you to tell them how you feel about people. Don't wait for special occasions. I find that at special occasions, I really don't have much to say to anybody because I've been saying a lot to you. It's like eating what you like to eat in your house when it's Christmas or New Year. There's no special meal that you want to prepare that you say like you have not eaten because you are used to eating what you like. So please do not get too used to your spouse that you don't appreciate them, you don't value them, you treat them lightly. Treat your spouse like you have just met the person for the first time. Anybody you treat like that, I tell you the truth, will still give you, something good to think about. Because if you love on somebody, the person will love you more. It's the truth. So the unity among couples should not be taken for granted. That your wife understands you, please don't take her for granted. Because some women don't even want to understand. And some men too don't want to understand. Oh, you're explaining to your husband, and your husband is okay, I understand. It's a gift. Please appreciate him and say, thank you, honey, for always understanding me. And say, thank you, madam, for always understanding me. Because we understand ourselves, we make more progress. So the unity of couples, we shouldn't ever take for granted. It's my husband. No, don't. The little things they do to make your life sweet, please appreciate them and value it. So that's what it is. Okay, now, the second thing we want to examine, things that we often take for granted, is domestic stuff. Your domestic helps. I have said it and I will continue to say it. You can never pay anyone enough to serve you. You can never pay because that person is serving you with his life. The person is serving you with his time. You can't pay for someone's life. No, you can't. People that made themselves available to serve you and you are paying. Because you are paying doesn't mean you have bought them. Please appreciate them. They deserve to be told thank you. They deserve to be told they are useful to you. They deserve to know. Don't say, hey, if I tell them, it will get into their, let it get into your head, but do what you are supposed to do. And my daughter reminded me and said, Mommy, haven't you noticed that when one worker leaves you, a better one comes? I have never really taken a notice of that until she told me. Because of course, I don't have bad workers. Because when you leave me, you are leaving me and you will never forget. Because I won't treat you wrong. You're a human being in the first place. You're not a slave to me. So we should appreciate these people that walk around the house. They clean the house. They do all manner. Even our children most of the time cannot even do the things that these people do. Please value them and treat them right like human beings. Don't give them leftover foods and make them, when they are sick, please be concerned. They are members of your household. Anyone that works with me and for me is a member of my household. I don't need to know where you come from. You're a human being in the first place. So sometimes we take our domestic helps for granted, which is not supposed to be so. So please place value on these people. They are human beings and they are contributing to your well-being. So be grateful. Thank you. All right, then we have to also be grateful that when we call people, they answer us. Yes. That you give out invites for your occasions and people honor those invites. I have seen a place where somebody prepared food for people to come and nobody came. The person was my neighbor, living in the same compound with me. They prepared for an occasion, they cooked. Sweetheart, they threw away most of the food because the people they were expecting didn't turn out. Now you are the one sending out invitations. And people are always coming. They are not coming because they are hungry. No. There are some people that some of those invitations are like disturbance to them. But when you invite them, they come. And why do they come? They come because they want to be part of your story. They want to be part of your joy. They want to be part of your happiness. Don't take it for granted. Anytime I call people, people will come. No, it's not everybody that calls people that people come to. So when you call people and people come, please be grateful. Be thankful that these people honor your invite. Okay? Very important. And then another thing we don't have to take for granted is our health. Please don't take your health for granted. Health, they say, is wealth. So when you don't feel good, please take care of yourself. If you must run a test, run a test. If you must take medications, please go according to the prescriptions. Just don't take your health for granted. Do not take your health for granted, because if you don't have your health, nothing matters. All right. So another thing I want us to consider when we are dealing with things that we shouldn't take for granted is that of your support system. If you only know some people that don't even have anybody sharing them up, you'll be grateful that you have people in your life that are genuinely interested in your journey. Support system, people that want to tell you genuinely how they feel about you, genuinely encouraging you, sharing you on, seeing the good in you, magnifying the good in you. Your support system, that even when you think that everything else is collapsing around you, you are sure that they are still standing with you. Like they will say, the last man standing. If you have people like that in your space, in your corner, please be grateful. Don't take them for granted. No. And don't always call them only when you need them. Service the relationship by showing love and care. Give them attention. That is part of what it means to value and to appreciate what you have. Don't take your support system for granted. A sister of mine was talking to me about a particular friend that is so dear to her that the friend feels her pain more than she even feels her own pain. And that whenever that friend's countenance falls on her, she makes sure that she goes out of her way to make sure that they are good again. Because she said to me, I cannot afford to lose that person in my life. So your support system is that important. Please, service your support system. Don't take it for granted. Oh, they will always be there. I agree. But please, let them feel valued and appreciated. Then they can always give you your very best. And then I want to also talk about our faith. Hey, don't take your faith for granted. For the fact that you believe in the God that you believe in, you should be grateful that you did not believe in a stone and that you are not serving a tree and that you know that your faith produces results. Oh yes, oh yes. And you are sure that when you pray to your God, He hears you and answers you. Don't take it for granted. Service your faith. Your relationship with God should not be taken for granted, please. He is your creator, He is your maker, but let Him also be your Lord. So don't take your faith for granted at all, because it's what keeps you going. It's your spiritual covering. You understand? So don't take your faith for granted. Don't even take hugs and smiles for granted. Don't. Genuinely. People that hugs on you, people that smiles at you. You know, I read a write-up that says, stay around people that your eyes are lit up as soon as they see you. People who are excited at the appearance of you. The person is already excited at the sound of your voice. You remember what happened to Mary and Elizabeth? As soon as the Bible says, as soon as Elizabeth heard the voice of Mary, the baby in her womb leaped. Oh yes, that's what actually happens when you go in contact with people that genuinely love you. When once they hear your voice, there is something about them. You know, they are excited, they are happy. Listen, don't take such people for granted, because there are some people that they only show you that affection in your face. But when you are not there, they don't feel that way. But the people that genuinely feel that way, they want to hug on you, they don't want to let go of you. Please, notice them. And then place value on them. In fact, it means that you taking care to notice the pillars in your life, the people that God has given to you, the things that are working for you, the things that are making your life to make more meaning and to be more enjoyable. Place value on those things so that they will appreciate in your life. And then, so when you take care of these things that gives you joy, you will discover that they keep getting better. So your relationships are getting better. Things that are making your life meaningful and more enjoyable are getting better. It's like servicing a vehicle and the vehicle never breaks down on you. It's the truth. It's the truth. Whatever it is that worked for you, if you service that thing, it will work again and again. That's what it is. So that's what we have on this episode. And I want to please welcome more comments on this topic. As many as you can remember that we take for granted. We take for granted water, don't we? Electricity, don't we? Clean environment. There are a lot of people in rural areas. They don't have water to drink. They've never seen light before. You even take for granted that you have a cell phone. A lot of things we take for granted that actually makes our life easy. Oh, you take for granted that you can think right. You take for granted that your senses are alert. You can smell. You can see. Oh, come on. We take a lot of things for granted that we have no business taking for granted. Please be grateful. So when you don't take things for granted, what do? You are grateful for the things that you have. You are grateful for the things that you are enjoying. You are grateful for the things that are made available for you on a daily basis to make your life more meaningful. That's what we are talking about here. So be grateful to people around you that has made your life beautiful and peaceful and has contributed to your well-being. And be grateful to God, the one that has created you that has created these people and that allowed them to access you. So that's all I have for us on this episode. God bless us and God honor us. Until I see you next time again, I remain yours truly, D. And please subscribe, share, like this video, and be a blessing so that the next time we come again is going to be beautiful and more meaningful. Thank you so much. Bye. God bless.